Hi, this is Deacon John Wilson here. I'm the Education Enrichment Director for West Angeles Church, as you know, and I'm here with Ricardo Perez, who's a very important member of our team. Well, I'll talk about what he does at the end. I think I have him here first because he's a recent graduate of USC. I had one other in that class, but he's probably my most recent graduate of USC. And those away from town, you know that. I guess everybody knows who USC is, right, Ricardo?
Yeah, I think so.
Even across the nation.
Yeah, it's the Southern California, not Southern Carolina. Because I know some people.
Oh, that's right. That's right. There's some kind of University of South Carolina.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I've encountered that before. But anyway, you're from the USC,
the USA.
and we're so proud that you graduated. I met you right in the beginning of the pandemic, and you were at USC. And I'll discuss how we found you later when I talk about what you do, okay? But talk about your first year and your preparation for going there versus how it really was. Take just a few minutes and talk about that. Your preparation versus being there. Was it what you expected? Was it not? Go ahead.
Yeah, so I guess in many senses, first I'd like to clarify that I was a little bit of a non-traditional student. So
Oh,
I didn't go into USC like right out of undergraduate. I actually went to UC Irvine for my first year, my first 2 years. I realized though when I was there that the UC system wasn't for me. I think, like it was a really good school and I had resources, but it was just too big. I know USC is a big school, but UC Irvine was like even bigger than USC. So, and I felt like I had to compete with for a lot of the resources in my class, like things that are like opportunities that you can just take up at a private college, you have to kind of really, really compete with a lot of other students because it's like a public university, and it has less of a flexibility in that sense. So then I decided to apply to USC. And USC was my dream school, like growing up too. I
interesting,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. So yeah, but I didn't try to apply initially just because I didn't have the stats that I wanted. So I waited till I was in Irvine, and then there I had the high enough like GPA or I was in the range for students to transfer. And then I applied to transfer, and I was able to get in, and yeah, it was very different. I also got into USC when it was like the pandemic. So my first year was a little
Right.
less also traditional, but I ended up staying an additional year to make up for it. And it was the best thing I think that I could have done. Take a semester off and then like continue because
Yeah, I've
um
forgotten that. I'd forgotten
yeah,
that. Yes.
yeah, I took a semester off and then I continued and it was good. I felt like, it was the right decision for me. And yeah, I loved my time at USC. I think it's like one of the best schools ever.
How
So
did how did you know you could make that transfer move? I've been doing this 20 years, I've never seen that particular move. How did you
yeah,
know you could
so
do that?
so I talked to USC counselors. So every US like, region, even from your home school or not home school, but even from your school, like your high school that you go to, there's a counselor assigned to your particular school.
Correct.
And so I was in contact with that person. I had questions. I was like, oh, I can't go into USC just right out of high school, but if I, go to Irvine or a different, school, how can I check that I'm on track to to, to transfer? And so um yeah, I reached out to them. They made a presentation in my at my high school, and then I was at Irvine, and I wasn't thinking
Oh,
about
so you knew
transferring.
about him anyway. Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah, I knew about him, but I didn't think about transferring until I said, you know what, I'm gonna give Irvine a try. Like maybe it's gonna be, good, and I'll find my space there. But I just didn't feel comfortable, and so then I reached out to them. I was like, hey, I remember you did a presentation, and then she gave me the resources like cross-reference your classes, make sure your things are transferable, and by the grace of God, like everything was good. It was in line, and I was taking like GE courses. And there's a online platform where you could cross-reference your institution that you're currently at with
Oh
the
yeah,
course
yeah,
at
that's right.
USC.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was pretty simple. Yeah. And then
So
once you're
oh, go
on
ahead.
campus, you could
Mhm.
also, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Oh, you could also, once you're on campus and let's say there's a class that you see or you notice, you could also petition to have classes that you had like at your original institution count towards your degree. So it was pretty good.
Nice. And what did you end up majoring in at USC?
Yeah, so I I switched my major a lot of times. But that's the beauty of USC, I think personally, Dornside specifically, because there's so many majors, and all it really takes to switch within Dornside is a meeting with your counselor. And I was originally a political science major, but I realized that it was like I took a course and it was not my strongest interest, but I also took a history course to fulfill a GE. And then I loved it. I loved historical research and archives. And so I ended up majoring in law, history, and culture. And so that major has a pre-law component where you're able to take a class at the law school. So it was really amazing to get that experience. And yeah, that was my major in the end, law, history, and culture.
Are you still kind of learning or figuring out what your ultimate career will be?
I'm still in the process of learning what that is. I think for me
Hmm.
right now, I'm in a season of just resting from school because I feel like since I extended my stay at the university, I need to kind of figure it out. But the beauty of having a resource like USC is you can always go to their pre-law counseling center. If like I do decide to end up
Uh,
to the LSAT or something, I can go there and uh, they'll give me resources.
yeah, you've gotten some skills and learning there that are helping us, I'm sure, and getting you to think about what you really want to do. What are some things you've thought about? Some career.
Yeah, I actually was able to well, with I guess liberal arts degree, I was able to get into kind of project management and coordinating at like West
Yeah, I was
Angeles.
hoping you talk about that. Yes.
Yeah, West Angeles, but also like other orgs, um, I've been able to help with their like their work study with their project management. It's very kind of niche, but I'm helping their operation systems as well. And currently, I'm also helping a nonprofit with their project management and launching. So West Angeles, but also the CLI Community Literature Initiative. And so yeah, I think that's where I
Oh,
kind of found my core like focus because research is all it really is. It's like a big project, that you have to complete. And so through research, that's kind of how I gained my skill set. And so now I do like project management kind of things where you set goals and then you fulfill those goals. And then there's a range of opportunities. And I haven't mentioned this to Deacon, but over the summer, I also got an internship at a marketing agency to be a project management like interim director. And so that, is in my resume. And that's something I'm considering now because of that experience that I've had in research. And so that was really valuable. And actually, the person who interviewed me for the internship told me that that was one of the major reasons why they were interested is because I had that research experience. So pre-law, I'm
yes,
thinking about
yes.
it, but I think right now what I'm looking more into is being like a project manager because there's a need for that in a lot of places. And yeah, I encourage, if you're a liberal arts student or want to go into history or like non-hard sciences, I definitely do think like you shouldn't be discouraged to not study that because, there's always opportunity for research. Um, and yeah, like if you want to do it, you can do it. And there's other areas like in nonprofits you could enter, or even like tech. They have project managers and sales roles that don't require like a hard science, you know, background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I think that's really important. I always tell students who are going to do liberal arts majors to think of what they're going to do along with it. But you gave a really great understanding of a way I hadn't thought of. And I'd always thought of nonprofit management. I've seen a lot of my students go into nonprofit who have the liberal arts major. But I guess the belief that you have to go teach is not the only thing you can do with that. And that's great. That's really good. Hey, I got to ask you this. So when you're on USC's campus, this is what I've always liked to ask. I always wanted to ask a USC student, so I get to ask it now. So I'd like any student, no matter whether they're a sports fan or not, I don't know. But what does it feel like on campus before a UCLA game?
Oh, I mean, there's, yeah, a
This
lot of
is
people, oh, there's a big rivalry, right? And like, they do take it seriously. I thought it was a joke. Like, at first, I was like, it's not that serious. But I remember my first year on campus, I think like like the Tommy Trojan was like trash. Not that it was irreparable, but it was just like, it was obvious that there was like UCLA had come and done
I think they
something.
let each other do that, don't they?
Yeah. No, but it's all fun and games, and
Yeah, it is.
it's pretty cool. Yeah, USC has a lot of like school spirit, and I think
I
that's
was going
also
to ask you about school spirit. Go ahead.
yeah, that's also why I wanted to go because everyone's like really proud to be in that school, and there's like a pride that goes beyond when you graduate, for sure. So yeah, you feel it though. In every game, honestly, like no matter who it is, you're like you're always gonna want to root for USC, and you just know, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, thanks. I always wanted to ask that. So listen, for those of you out there, Ricardo's doing something we always dreamed of doing for our program. He's forever changed it. And it's there in a way that it's part of our infrastructure. And that is in some way, and we're growing every day in our ability to reaching out to our students that are in college. A lot of you are seeing this. You're in college. And talk a little bit about your newsletter. And I know I gave you some other projects to do too. I will talk about those. Really was impressed with those, but the resume and yeah, you can talk about that too, I suppose. But talk about the alumni, what you brought to us, what are you doing? Because we weren't doing much. It was on the drawing board when you came. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go
so
ahead, sir.
I've been, lucky to work with alumni and kind of set that like data points for the nonprofit. And so the large part of what I do is I do a lot of research on different opportunities, not specifically for USC, but just for undergraduate students and students who have graduated college. And what I do is I compile that information and send it out into a newsletter. I'm trying to be better at kind of including more resources that I would have wanted as a student, right? So, or that I think would have been good when I was a student, like to be helpful. I also helped develop a resume template. I was an intern for HR for a cool minute in my undergrad years, and that's kind of where I got that template because no recruiter wants to hear I want to make the world a better place. That is very vague. Like that is so vague and like like what it really is when you're applying to a job to an internship is you want to make it as easy as possible to the person reviewing your application. And so that goes with everything, right? And so I did that resume template because it's what had helped me and what my supervisor at the time there told me is what was the most common, well received resume. So if you haven't checked it out, I encourage you, check it out. And there's that, and there's also student discounts. There's a link to student discounts. You
Yeah,
get a
that's
lot
really
of
good. Some of the students are using that. They told
yeah,
me.
you get yeah, awesome. Yeah, you get a lot of freebies as a student, or just discounts in general. So definitely check those out while you still have your EDU email, like subscriptions to get discounted. And so that's kind of what I've been doing in internships, scholarships. School is not cheap. So, and I have resources there that I try to link, and internships. They vary from STEM to like finance and stuff, but a lot of these are not major specific. So even if you have somewhat of an interest, but you don't have the background per se, I still my hard belief is like you should still apply because you just never know, right? You just never know if there is a project that you worked on that the team there can use or catches their attention. So yeah, but that's the newsletter, and so that's I've been the one, if you are, an alumni registered, like I make those. And so you'll probably receive them from me. But yeah, that's kind of
Great.
what I do. Yeah.
Just a couple more things. Talk about, I'll just tell people, he came to us at a time that our trustee board said, why aren't you getting interns from the colleges? And I said, well, I've tried before. They said, try again. So I went to one of these panels and I had to get selected for that, Ricardo. I had to apply and they had to select me to be on your panel, by the way. And
Oh,
they did. And USC did, because I was told I could be turned down, right? But they saw us from West Angeles, and somebody knew about West Angeles. So I got on it. And we did a little thing in front of the students online. Did you see that? We were like talking online. Students got to see us.
yes. Yeah. I remember that.
And I remember I had 4 students that showed interest. Um, I talked to them. There was one young lady, I thought that she was going to decide to go with us. Last minute, she veered off. And then I was about to give up, and Quinn told me this. You never called back a guy named Ricardo. And that's my recollection of how I found you. And I knew when I talked to you online that you were going to fit in. I just had a feeling. But what was your recollection of all that? What did you tell me from your perspective? What you saw? I never
Yeah, it
asked
was.
you that. I've always wondered that. I thought it'd be interesting.
Yeah, it was rough because I remember it was like 2020, I think, or 2021, where we still weren't
Yeah,
on campus.
yeah,
So I really, I still wanted to get involved. I had work study, but like there was no work study jobs because we
right.
couldn't go on campus. So I remember it was a crazy time of uncertainty for sure. But I went to one of the panels actually, and that's where I met you for the first time, and you were talking about like the work that you do at a nonprofit. And ever since then, I was kind of interested in like what the grant writing process was, or like what research was about, or just what nonprofits had to offer because I knew I didn't want to go to law school
I
like
got to
writing.
remember to get you involved in grant writing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nicole might need help. I remember that. She can show you what she's done. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I had that conversation with you about like, what that would look like for me as a work study student. And honestly, I was just uh very passionate also about like the mission, right, of helping kids go to college because or at least achieve more in high school too, because I was not like I didn't have people to help me either. Like I was first gen navigating everything myself. And I think having like tutoring sessions and just helping the parents with SAT information. Like that was really cool to me because we didn't have that when I was in high school. I didn't know about orgs like that, and I think that's why I was, really drawn to the org. And yeah, I'm really happy that we met that day and
Yeah, it's kind
we're
of
serving to
yeah,
this day, so it's pretty good.
yeah. And you've been more than worth the time I spent that day, and you've been more than worth your weight in gold. And hey, before we go, talk a little bit about your church and your faith, just a little bit about your
Oh
church.
yeah, so I also I go to Iglesia Betzalel, so it's a mainly Spanish speaking church.
And by the way, I didn't know that before I hired him, y'all. I just felt in my spirit that he was
in
right. I just felt he was right. Go ahead.
Bell Garden. So yeah, it's I've been there for like a couple years now with my family. They all serve, and so um yeah, God is good, and till this day He's been faithful. And yeah, I also encourage you, like, don't, like, even if there's a little bit of faith in your life, like don't let go of that, and don't
Yes.
let go of that like in times of trouble and in times of stress, because college gets stressful, um and uncertainty too, because I mean you're forced to make a choice about your life like at 18, right? And so I just also encourage you to like ask God like what the plans are for you, and he'll answer, or yeah, in whatever faith, just put your trust in God and Jesus. Yeah.
Well, Ricardo, thank you so very, very much. I really think it'll be a blessing to our upcoming seniors, but also to our students in college. We'll put it over there on Holy Thinkers EDU, and I have a few more words to say after this. But Ricardo, thank you so very much. I appreciate you coming by, spending some time with us, and we'll meet tomorrow. We'll meet tomorrow next day. Get back to work, okay?
Okay.
I got a
Sounds good.
couple more things for you to do. All right. Thanks much. Well, I hope you got something from that great interview with Ricardo Perez. If you want to see videos like that in the future, remember to click like and subscribe. Also, you'll help us out because it expands the reach of our videos. I'm going to try to interview more students, and do some more, even some one-on-one interviews in person. Because I think it's very important that students who are going to college get a feeling for what college life is like, and that you parents can see what we do. And I thought I'd highlight some members of our team. I think I'll do another person on our team the next time we do this. God bless you. Thank you very much. As you know, my email address is right below you on the screen, and also a description of our program and the different things we do is there as well. God bless you. Bye-bye now.